What's up, you guys? It's Luke with Figure Me Out. Today we've got the Ant Man and Yellowjacket 2-pack from the Marvel Legends First 10 Years wave of action figures. Got the front of it here. Got some nice artwork on the side. Get to see Ant Man punching the heck out of Yellowjacket there. A little read up on this side here. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause it now. And on the back we've got another read up with some artwork, the original Ant Man poster. If you want to do that read up on Ant Man and Yellowjacket, go ahead and give it a pause. Alright, and here's our guys out of the package, and taking a look at them. First let's talk about some accessories, okay? So here's the accessory number one, is tiny little Ant Man. If I can get the camera to focus on him. Alright, so there we go. I was able to get it focused on him. And pretty good little Ant Man. A little bit of paint on there, a little silver, a little red. It's the same one, same mold as that one that we saw before. We put the two side by side. On the Ant Man, there's not really much difference. As you can see for the Yellowjacket, we got the new one on the left here, and the old one on the right, and they're painted different. So there's a little bit more silver on this older one, but this newer one actually kind of looks more like the costume in the movie. Not as much paint, but it actually looks better. So we do have a Paul Rudd head here as the alternate. It looks pretty good. Mine, his eyes kind of look like he's looking up for some reason. Looks like he's looking to the sky, like looking off in the distance, like, "Come on, Paul Rudd, got a lot to think about." But it's good. So that's it as far as accessories go. So talking about the figures themselves, I gotta say this Yellowjacket, I love it. I love it. It's the Yellowjacket I've been waiting for since I first saw that Ant Man movie. It's just a really good figure. Overall, the painting's real nice. It's a completely new sculpt. This backpack is removable. It just pegs into his back there. And overall, just fantastic figure. Looking at that face sculpt, that head sculpt, I should say. There's barely a face back there. That little smiley, kind of weird looking smiley face thing. What do you call that? I really love whenever I can get an action figure like this and you just notice so much more detail that you didn't see in the movie. Like, I mean, you watch the movie and you say, "Oh, that's a cool costume," but you don't see all the intricate, just like the work that goes into it. That's why I really love these MCU figures. I know a lot of people love their comic figures, and I'm all for that too. But I love these MCU figures because it gives me a chance to really see a 3D model of these characters and their designs. Like, somebody spent hours and hours and hours designing the suit, and then every time you see him, he's in an action scene. He's moving real fast, and it's all blurry, and it's hard to tell what's what. So I really love whenever we can get a 3D rendering of it and enjoy that. So let's talk about his little backpack here. So the backpack, like I said, it plugs into his back. These little things on the top, they're kind of articulated a little bit. They go side to side, up and down, just a little bit. And then it's painted really nicely. It's got a really nice sculpt to it. It looks very mechanical, very, sinister looking. And then we do have these little tentacles, tendrils, wasp legs, whatever you want to call these things. Yellowjacket wet legs, I guess. He's not wasp, but they are articulated, so they move back and forward on both sides. And then there is a hinge right here where it hinges up, and there's a second hinge up here and a rotation, and it hinges that far. And it does that same thing on both sides. That's really the only articulation you get. It looks like there may have been planned to be more, but probably for budget reasons, this is it. And it does fine. It does really good. You can get him in a few of those poses from the movie, so whenever you put that on his back, you can open these up and throw them to the side, and it looks good. Or you can, I think at one point he had them kind of curled up the back here, and he was using them as little zappers, so you got that, which is pretty good. I'm going to leave this off for the rest of his review, just because it does kind of hinder the articulation a little bit, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. So looking down, you can look down about that far. You can look up about that far. It is hindered by this this collar piece right here. It does kind of hinder it. You can kind of push it back a little bit and maybe get a little bit more, but then you wind up popping the head off. So really not looking up too much but you know he's looking at Ant Man, so he's going to be looking down, right? But anyway, the arm does go out to the side a little bit better than 90. You got a bicep swivel, a double jointed elbow, goes in pretty good, and then the wrists are both hinged going up and down. Now on this one we have a fist, but it goes out and in, and it goes really far. So, and those hands do come out fairly easily. They've got one of these kind of pegs on there, in case you were wondering. But anyway, so at the torso, we got a rotation. We got an ab crunch. It goes barely forward at all. Really doesn't go forward. It does go back. So he can't look back. He can lean back, and he can't crunch forward, but he can look down. So hey, pick your, you know, what's important to you. At the legs, he does have these hip joints. They go out about that far, so he gets about right at 45 from them. They go forward pretty good. Back, maybe just a smidgen. And they have hidden. He does a thigh swivel. They've hidden it really well at this little seam right here. So it is actually underneath there, and there is a thigh swivel. He's got a double jointed knee on both sides. Goes in pretty good. And then he's got the ankle rocker pivots that go down, up, and he pivots side to side. Hey guys. And so going over Ant Man here, looking at him a little bit closer, I thought at first this was just going to be a straight up repaint of that new Ant Man and the Wasp Ant Man body that we got with the Cold Obsidian Build-A-Figure wave, I believe. And pleasantly surprised to say it's not. However, it is very similar to the Ant Man that we got in the what was that? The Ultron wave, way back when Ant Man first came out. I think they're kind of hedging their bets on that one, and they just kind of rushed that thing out at the last minute. But because that wasn't a very great figure, the sculpt was almost there, and the face was almost there, and everything was almost there, but not quite. This is what I think that they were going for. Like if it would have been complete. So kudos for them. They're going back and doing that revision because this actually is a good looking figure. So we look at the helmet here, and we'll have some comparisons here in just a minute, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But helmeted head looks good. He's got the mouthpiece on the front there, like he's supposed to. He's got that, you know, leather jacket looking paint throughout, so that's cool. Got that nice utility belt with some good paint on there. He's even painted on the back. I love when they do that, when they paint it all the way through instead of just on the front, you know, in case you want to have him backwards in your collection. So that's cool. You know, the wrists got some little good paint on there, good sculpt throughout, but it's very familiar because it's that same, pretty much a lot of it's that same as that first one. Let's talk articulation real quick. So he can look down pretty good, looks down quite a bit. He can look up pretty good, not so much. He's also limited by the fact that he's got this little collar piece in the back that everything bumps into. I guess they don't want these little guys looking up for some reason. Hey, who am I judge? And it does go side to side. No, a little bit of rocker in there. And then at the arms, the shoulders go out about to a 90. They do rotate all the way around. There's a bicep swivel. We've got a double jointed elbow, and the wrists are hinged. They swivel, and they're also hinged to go up and down. So that's good. We've got an ab crunch that goes that far forward, that far back, so not very much in either direction. Got a waist rotation. We've got hips that go out that far, a little better than 45, maybe, right at. They go forward, really good actually, pretty good. They kind of go out to the side though, and then they don't go back so much. You do get an upper thigh swivel, but it does break that line, so you know, you kind of want to, if you're OCD like I am, then you kind of want to keep it like that forever, but hey, it's there. I got a double jointed knee, no rotation down here, and then we do have ankle pivots that go down, up, and crazy ankle rocker pivot. Alright guys, and as a comparison here, we've got the new Ant Man here on the left. We've got the Ant Man and the Wasp figure there in the middle, and then on the right we've got the original Ant Man MCU figure that we got back in the Ultron wave a few years ago. And it's no contest for this guy. This guy doesn't count. But what I was saying about that body mold, if we look at this one and this one, you can see that's two totally different bodies. That's two totally different designs, totally different legs, arms, Everything, helmet, like everything on this is completely different. But if we compare this to Ant Man, Ant Man, look at that. It's like upgraded version. It's like, hey, we put the mouth sticking out on this one. Mouth didn't stick out. Let's correct that. Oh, he had orange eyes? No, he had red eyes in the movie. Let's correct that. His little thing stuck up a little bit more. Let's correct that. The back design, he didn't have these little steam ports coming out of his back, so let's go ahead and correct that. It's just a redaction. It's a redaction. This one did have some nice shading. I mean, it was they put forth a good effort with this, especially probably because this thing was rushed out. And you can tell because this one's got a smooth chest and this one's got that textured chest. Like, you can tell what they were going for. This is what they ultimately wanted back in whenever they put this turd out. They wanted to do this, and I think that's why they revised it now. You can see pretty much the exact same sculpt. I mean, down to the boots and everything. This guy looks very similar, but there's just minor differences, like that texturing on the shoulder, that just make the new one so much better. The paint looks better. It's cleaner. It's more movie accurate. It doesn't have orange pin particles. Who the hell has orange pin particles? But anyway, so as you can see, I'm glad that it's not just a repaint of this guy, because he had a different suit in the second one. He didn't look the same. So that's good. I like that. Alright, and here's our two guys next to Wasp, and I think they scale pretty well. And here's our two new figures next to the Giant Man from the Civil War Giant Man Build-A-Figure wave of figures. I wish NECA would come out with a MCU 18-inch Ant Man, Giant Man. Oh man, NECA, if you hear me, do that. Come out with this Ant Man costume and put it in your 18-inch scale that you've been doing. Your quarter scale, I guarantee you'd have a lot of people buying that, because I'd say, oh yeah, Giant Man that actually scales, because this is not. He's a pretty pitiful Giant Man, to be honest. He's slightly gianter than normal man, whatever. So that's it, everybody. That's the Marvel Legends Yellowjacket and Ant Man 2-pack. What do you guys think? Do you like this? Is it surprising to you? I gotta be honest, it's surprisingly good. Which really isn't that surprising with these 10th anniversary figures. I feel like they've just been killing it with that line. Every single one of them has been a hit for me so far. I don't know if it's if they're putting a little extra effort into these, or if they're really like hammering down trying to be great because it's that 10th anniversary. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just really into the MCU figures. I do like the movies more than the comics. Don't hate me for that. But I started out with the movies, and I've recently gotten into comics because of the movies, but the movies is what brought me in the beginning. I was never a comic kid. I always thought they looked cool, and I always thought, oh yeah, I like comic books because they're neat, but I never knew anything about them until the movies came out. So but yeah, let me know what you thought. Let me know who's your favorite Ant-Man out of the three. What do you think about this Yellowjacket? You think this is worth $50 for this set? I thought it was a pretty good deal. By the way, I did get these from Z's Comic Book Lair here in Tennessee, but Z's has got a new thing where they've partnered with Dorkside, and Dorkside has their toys for sale in Z's. So technically these are from Dorkside through Z's Comic Book Lair, which is my local comic shop. So if you do want to pick these up, go ahead and go to dorkside.com. There's some really great folks over there, and they should be able to get these out to you. But yeah, hit like, hit subscribe, but in the meantime, keep trying to figure me out.